What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Razor Danger here, and today I am going to be bringing you guys a Far Cry 4 review. I've had a lot of fun with this game, I've had a lot of time put into this game, and honestly, I'm extremely excited to show what my experience with this game was like with you guys. So, I'm going to be splitting this game up into 3 different sections: the campaign, the co-op, and my final verdict, and if I think the game is worth buying or not. So, without further ado, let's get into the review. Alright, so to start off with the campaign, you are a man named Ajay Ghale, and you come back to Kyrat, which is your mother's homeland, to bury her ashes, as that was her final wish as she, before she died. And when you get to Kyrat, you realize that they're under a civil war, and you have to pick a side, and whatever you decide will depend on what ending you get with the game. And also, that was really interesting, as there is a pick-your-own-adventure kind of game to that. While you're doing that and picking sides and trying to help out with the Civil War, you are overall just trying to bury your mother's ashes and get out. And there's only one thing stopping you, and that is a ruthless dictator named Pagan Min. He is the main villain to this game, and honestly, he's a very, very interesting villain. He's not as interesting as Far Cry 3's Vaas, but he is definitely a very interesting and different villain in video game history. So in Far Cry 4, you have to kind of explore and survive this unfamiliar land, and it's very, very interesting how the land in the campaign kind of connect, because a lot of the villagers and a lot of the natives to Kyrat always make references to the land, and how you should never hurt the land. And it's just very, very interesting to see what the people in the game think about Kyrat and now it should never be touched, and overall that's what they're doing. And that is basically Far Cry 4 in a nutshell. I'm not really going to go in depth on what the campaign story is like without spoiling anything, and also it's hard for me to do that as I will pick a different journey as the rest of you have or will. My friends and I have had totally different endings and different ways that we've played the campaign, so really my experience will be different than anybody else's that plays, unless you happen to pick the exact same path that I did. So the endings overall are all interesting. My friends have done some of the duller ones, and I honestly was pretty satisfied with the way that mine ended. But I have heard that there are some pretty bad endings that aren't even really worth the $60. For instance, in the very first 5 minutes of the game, the dictator Pagan Min leaves a table, and you can just stand there for, I think it's 10 minutes, and then the game will end. And it's just very kind of, it's funny. I mean, it's definitely funny, but I really wouldn't rather sit down, for 10 minutes and just kind of wait to get an achievement about finishing a game and then having to redo all the cutscenes again anyway. So those are just some of the endings. There's a couple, I think there's 3 or 4 endings, but overall, they're all interesting, to say the least. They're all different, and so that's what I really enjoyed about Far Cry 4, was that my experience with Far Cry 4 was different from my other friends' experiences of Far Cry 4, and I think that makes the game a better game overall. To get into the co-op, which is what I'm actually showing you guys right now, you cannot play the campaign. The missions of the campaign are all taken away, similar to how they are in Assassin's Creed. Just all campaign missions are gone. But you can play side missions, and you can do random events and just random things in the co-op experience, which I think makes the game 10 times better than the campaign. In fact, I've had a lot more fun playing the co-op. I'm sorry, guys. I've had a lot more fun playing the co-op than I have playing the campaign. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. If you guys don't enjoy playing with your friends and you just kind of like getting home and playing a game by yourself and just enjoying the story, this might not be the best game to do that. Not saying the campaign is terrible. You'll probably really enjoy it, but it's not one that you're going to want to keep on going back and redoing all the time. It's just your very standard first-person shooter campaign, but the co-op changes every time I've played it. And yes, it's the same map, and yeah, we've traveled over the map many, many times, but it's always very, very interesting and different. And honestly, I can totally recommend this game just with the co-op itself. I really hope that Far Cry 5 will have a co-op campaign and just the entire game have a co-op experience. But I mean, that is my hope. you can do a lot of crazy stuff in Far Cry 4. For instance, right now I'm jumping off a cliff with my elephants. Yeah, you can't really say that you've done that in many other first-person shooters. And there's just a lot of crazy events that you can do during Far Cry 4. Again, right now I'm swinging off a bridge with my friends because we can. There's just a lot of crazy stuff that you can do, and you can hear the gunfire in the background, but my friend and I saw this and we said, we should stop, and this would be cool to do. So we did, and honestly it was a lot of fun and it was crazy. You can't really hit yourself off of the swing, but it's just very interesting to see somebody swing back and forth and back and forth. The wildlife is always unpredictable and it's very dynamic. For instance, right now you're going to see a very rare rhino that's actually part of a hunting side quest that you get in the game. And for instance, this rhino, and what made it a side quest was that it was very, very strong and rare, and it was up to you to shoot it with a specific gun, and you hunt it, you get whatever you need, and this guy will create gear for this fashion show. And that's just one of the side missions that you get during the game. All of the missions you can play cooperatively or with a friend, so it all just depends on your personal playstyle. So guys, my only real complaint with this game is the fact that you cannot play a co-op campaign, and that part is the only part that bugs me really badly about this game. The fact that the campaign is okay, it's not really that long, it's not really the best I've ever played. That's just a small complaint compared to how fun the game is overall. And I don't really think that the game should be judged just on the campaign, even though it is it's mainly a campaign game, but there's just so much more that you can do to the game, or with the game, than play the campaign. And the co-op just, the co-op is like my campaign. There's so much, and you kind of make your own story, and like, you can just do amazing things in the co-op. I can't stress that enough. Guys, if you really enjoy big, massive multiplayer games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, you're probably not going to enjoy this. You might enjoy it, but I don't think it will keep your interest for as long as those other games. There's not really a grind feature here where you have to like play for hours on end to get all the best guns like you do in Battlefield or Call of Duty. And it's just kind of one of those games you kind of sit back with your friends and you want to do something stupid and blow stuff up or go hunting and just do random stuff. This game will always have something to do. If you're bored with going and doing outposts and killing people, then you can go hunting. And if you're bored with hunting, then you can go racing. And if you don't like racing, then you could go hunting. I mean, there's just a lot that you can do in the game, and it's just all very, very, very fun. And I don't regret paying $60 for it. Definitely, guys, if you have the extra money and you pick it up, definitely do so. Try to get a friend to get it with you, and you'll definitely have a lot of fun. Really, really try to get a friend that plays similarly to you. For instance, I mostly play with my cousin, who also likes blowing things up, and that makes the game especially interesting. I've played with people that don't really enjoy the way I play the game. For instance, they like going in stealthy, they don't like being seen, and yet I like, going in loud and proud, and yet our experiences together haven't been as much fun as, my cousin and I, who have the same kind of play style. So definitely, if you're going to pick up the Carol campaign, definitely play with somebody that you really, really have played with a lot, that is probably your main two guy that you play with. I don't know if that makes sense. But the game overall is a lot of fun, and if you have the extra $60, definitely pick it up, give it a try. If you've played Far Cry 3, 4, if you played Far Cry 3 or 4, let me know down in the comments and what you thought about the game. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. More videos will be coming on their way. Thank you guys.